So today I am here with the incredible seamstress, dancer, groover, community maker, Phae Monae, the infamous, the lovely diva extraordinaire. How are you doing this evening?
Yes, that was fire.
It's
Well, now
actually
I'm feeling extra special, so thank you.
as you should.
But yeah, it's been an interesting day. I feel like I've been like hitting these mood swings a lot. Like I'm like either really happy and like, okay, we can do it. Like we can make life happen. And then sometimes
Mhm.
I'm like,
Yeah, it's a constant back and forth, especially you're doing good things right now, making a lot of momentum. I'm looking at your website for your clothing, and that
Mhm.
that launched recently. That's such a gorgeous website. Uh,
Thank you.
yeah, how long has that been in the works?
Well, let's see. In my brain, it's been like years. Like people
Really?
tell me I should make it a business and like Phae Monae is the vibe, like push the vibe. And I'm like, because which I've been talking about this a lot too recently, is like when you're an artist, like no one really teaches you how to be a business person. Like you have to like learn that like when you are an artist and you decide to give it to the world as like an offering and then you want that to like be your life, that like you have to learn how to be a business person. So I think like the initiative on like imposter syndrome and trying to
Mm.
like be like, okay, I am a designer. Let's say it out loud a couple times and then let's start like putting in the like actions towards what that means. So like the physical like work of that process started as soon as I lost my job. So I was fired from my last place May 26th. And I had already been feeling like before then that I should like probably the whole time I was actually before I was working there, because I tried to do like a little vintage shop before then. But I didn't like make it like a proper business. I just was like doing some pop-ups here and there because I'm
Yeah.
always shopping thrift. So I was like, well, if I see other pieces that like I love, but maybe they don't necessarily resonate for me, or they're not my size, but like I feel like I gotta buy it. Like
Mhm. Oh
so
yeah.
I was doing like vintage pop-ups before, and those were cute, but I was like, this is kind of a lot to like always be curating a collection and trying to like have multiple sizes, because like obviously all the good sizes, aka the range of like possibilities of humans that can fit in that size, are going to sell first. And
Yes.
so then all of the things that like not as many people can fit inside, that's what I'm left with. And then I was kind of like, dang, like keep trying to push this and being like, I had sizes last week, but this week, like it was just like,
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do this. So I dropped that. And then I was like, okay, well, people have been telling me the things that I've been making for myself that they want to buy. Like I literally be walking on the street and I got on a purse I made and someone's like, where you get that from? And I'm like, I made it. And they're like, do you have a website? And I was like, no.
Yeah.
But I can make you one though. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
so yeah, May 26th is when I was like, okay, fuck that place. I'm gonna be my own business person and figure out how to do that. And I am still very much trying to figure out how to do that. But yeah, that was like the official date. So that would probably be like, oh, it's November 26th today. So
Oh, hey. 6 months.
months.
6 months. Congrats. Look where you are in 6 months. That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, that's wild. And I kept having like dreams that my birthday was significant this year. And I'm like pretty much like a birthday person. Like I'm like, no matter what, I don't care if nobody's there. Like I have to really celebrate myself because
Yeah.
I don't really know how to do that. But on my birthday, it's like, we're gonna figure it out today. Like
Yeah.
so yeah, having my birthday kept coming up like and as a dream or in angel numbers when I was like driving by, and I would be like thinking about the business and like what I'm trying to do. So I was like, you know what? I feel like I got to do this website drop on my birthday. And then after that, we'll just like figure out, what's happening, but at least the website will be like up. So yeah, that was the whole 3 months of the summer kind of working on that.
Yeah, I remember you had all of Atlanta, all the cool people in Atlanta taking pictures for you. So that was really exciting to hear.
I was trying. I'd be trying. I'd be like, hey, you
Yeah.
cute. And I love you. And
Mhm.
also my friends are like, they're like, let us help you, like you don't have to just be like sitting in here wondering how you're gonna do the thing. Like, we're your advertisement. Let us help you. So
Yeah.
that was also really great and needed because it's hard.
Yeah. And I feel like once you start speaking that you need help with something on any stage, you're always surprised about how much the community shows up for you. You always think it's such an independent thing and it's impossible to ask for assistance in any means, even if it's just showing up for a photo shoot, sharing information about what you're working on, letting people know that it exists, uh, or just being like, come over and talk ideas with me. People show up.
Yeah.
And I think you have a really good, you seem to be a pillar of the Atlanta community at this point. Do you have any secrets on how to make like lasting relationships in this scene?
I was about to say, but I'm a Virgo, so also the level of criticism in my brain is like very unhealthy. But
Mhm.
um what I realized is I think when I first started making community, I was just kind of like anything goes, right? Like any way that I can connect with humans, I'm like there for it because I've been kind of like the weird chick growing up where like my friend groups didn't really match me. Like
Mhm.
they were my friends because they chose to be my friends, but like if I would have chosen, I probably would have just been alone because like what they were into and what was happening, like how we would hang out, like none of that shit I was into. I was just like there. And it was always kind of like, oh, the weird girl. But something that somebody pointed out to me, because I don't know. It's I don't really like naturally be like, oh, I'm a cool person. Like I'm cool. But like my friends now were trying to tell me that like, yeah, people gravitate towards you because you're cool. Like you're not just cool in like how you look or like whatever, but like your personality is also like you be chilling low key. Like you're available and authentic, like always. And
Mhm.
so I think like when I am in community, I try to actively be myself. And even though sometimes that means I'm making a fool of myself or or saying things I probably shouldn't say, because later I'm probably thinking in my brain, like, damn, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
But in the moment, it was like that was authentic and it was like what I had to like respond to whatever was happening. And that's okay. But yeah, I don't really know that I have any like plugs about that. I think mostly it's just that if you think that a person is of interest to you, like make it a point to tell them that. I think is really what I find um the most genuine with like how I connect with people is and how they connect with me too. Like I want to be around people that are also like pouring into me and telling me like you're great and I love the things that you do and we're having like intellectual and profound conversations that are deep and not just like, oh, I like your outfit. Where'd you get that from? You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, what culminates your style? Like, even you asking me that about being a pillar, I'm like, I would never even have thought of myself in that way. But you saying that, I'm like, oh, I guess in some ways I could see that,
Yeah. People definitely gravitate towards you and feel warm towards you and I think want to boost you up. And I think I'm similar too, where that genuine feeling of you think everybody has that, but you realize it's actually a rare thing. And when you find other people who have that, you're like, oh, that's my tribe. That's
Yeah.
who I really want to be around. Um, it's a lot rarer than I realized. So I'm also trying to realize recently, uh, even through being genuine, I have to conserve some energy for myself, and I can't always be giving outward.
Yeah.
Um, So that's a kind of a hard thing I've been thinking about.
I have started to realize more recently that I actually have a lot of social anxiety too. And I think before I didn't really notice that because one, I was just eager. Like I was saying, like any form of community and conversation and people, like I was just eager. And
Mhm.
then two, I was always drinking before. And like since I had like stopped drinking and stopped feeling so eager, because when you're that eager, you also get your feelings hurt a lot. Like
Yes.
people break your heart a lot. And then
Yes.
you're like, damn, why is this always happening to me? And I'm like, bitch, because you're eager. Like you gotta chill something, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that time to self, I've been trying to like reground in that because before when I was like the weird girl, I was always alone because like what better company was at that point than myself. So like I chose solitude a lot. Whereas like once I started to like actively be in community and also be an artist, like it was almost like solitude was like why do we have like no, there's no such thing as that. But re-inviting that as I'm maturing has been really beneficial because I think it also lets me evaluate like what's real.
Yes. Yeah, you brought up that when when I stopped drinking, I remember the first few outings, I just felt like I had to completely relearn how to talk to people.
Yeah.
And the analysis in my head and what was going on, it was like a baby just being thrown out into the wolves. And
Yeah.
even like a friend of mine said had like texted me after one of the first parties I went to, and she was like, "Just so you know, you were a jerk. Like you were so mean." And I was like, "I was just being defensive. I don't know. I don't." I was like, "I'm so sorry." But this kind of you have to relearn those things. You know, like, even if you just want to like approach social settings as like an adult and as an artist who like on your own terms is a thing you have to go through, even if it's like difficult. Um,
Hmm. Like
yeah,
now, some of my friends they'll realize like they'll be like, "Oh, where's Faye?" And I'll just be like somewhere alone,
Mhm.
like just doing nothing. They're like,
Yeah.
"Are you good?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I just needed to take like 10 minutes to myself."
Yes.
Like, I don't know why I'm so anxious, but like, yeah, like I get even like going to a place, I'll get there early and then like sit in my car for 10, 15 minutes just to
Yeah.
like ground and like, okay, we're gonna go in the public and we're not gonna be weird. But we are
Yeah.
weird, but not like bad weird.
Yeah. It's just like we're gonna be present.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not just gonna fake having energy, or if my
Right.
soul clock runs out, that's it. I'm gonna go tuck myself away and come
That's
back when I'm ready.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, that's real. I remember I even had friends. I was like, so which rooms are empty? Which one can
Yeah.
I can I just take a minute in? It's definitely important. Um, this is kind of on a similar note, thinking about maintaining your pace as an artist. So the way you're doing a lot right now with the website, with the clothing, do you do anything to kind of maintain or sustain your practice that's uh, maybe not related to arts or something that kind of keeps you going when things kind of get exhaustive?
No. And that is shameful. And I'm saying it's shameful because it's something I need.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I'm always like, even like with dance, like I was like hitting dance so hard and like dancing for everybody. And it was just like, it was great in a sense of like, this is exactly what I asked for, you know? Like I put
Mm-hmm.
into the universe that I want to be dancing at this capacity and want to like explore as much as I can. And I'm doing that. But then, like, what am I doing to not even necessarily recover, but more so like what's the art that's just for me, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
if I'm always giving all these things out, like what am I doing now that's for me? And like this summer I had realized that I was kind of like burning myself out trying to hit it so hard and be at everything and be dressed to perfection so that people are like aware now that like there is a website, it is live and you can buy things from me.
Yeah.
And like right now I'm like, well, what I need to do first, because this is what I'm thinking about for myself, is that social media, we're gonna take a break so
Mm,
that I can stop feeling like I need to be like outputting as much as I can to keep building traction that's like not happening, because no one controls the algorithms, and like unless I'm paying a bunch of money for that shit to float differently, like this is who I'm reaching right now. So let's take a pause, because it's
mhm.
going to be the same seven people when I come back. Like
Yeah,
it's
they'll be there. Yeah.
they'll be there. And then something that I used to do before I was like putting things into action is I would sketch a bunch and just like make little like vision notes and really organize in like that kind of way of like dreaming and like what my intentions and manifestations want to be. And I feel like right now, like I feel like it's like I'm ready to go on to the next collection and on to the next thing. But I also, it's almost like if you're like getting over a breakup, like even if the breakup wasn't tumultuous, like you still might just need some reset time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going like to the mountains with a friend this weekend, which would be good because I'll get like some reset time for that. And I'm trying to invite softer practices that like are for nobody but like me or the other person I'm doing it with. Like we're just
Yeah.
taking up space together, and it's intimate and it's quiet and it's not being shared to anyone, you know? So those are some things that I'm trying to like get back in the practice of play, because an investigation, because like right now I'm just like trying to figure out how to be like a good businesswoman
Mm.
and like be at everybody's shows too so I can support everybody. But it's like I really am like running out of steam and I need to like honor that. Um so yeah, and I've never done a project where I was just like playing. Like I always go into it like, oh, I know what I'm gonna do. And then like even though it's probably investigative because I'm super mutable, so I'm not like super fixed on like the final product necessarily, but I am pretty clear like overall about like concept and vibe and always the fit. Like so yeah, I there's some things that I want to learn. Like I've never made an outfit cut straight from a pattern, and
Mm.
even though it's not necessary for me, it's just something I want to know how to do, you know? Like if I do want to take my grandma's blanket and turn it into a coat, like I want to know I can do that. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to be able to do that just based upon like I'm making a product to sell. It's going to take some like ugly, making it bad and undoing the stitches and restitching it, you know. Same thing with dance, like it'll take some just like sitting here crisscross applesauce and being like, the body moves, but what does it want to do today? You know?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I'm hoping to, yeah, kind of step back from like production of things and just like play a little bit in the next like 2 months.
Yeah. I feel like you're like me. That's one of the hardest things to do is to commit your energy to something that is not, air quotes, like not productive.
Yeah.
Um, because we're told so much of what drives us is like productivity, being able to like see results, being able to see what
Yep.
manifests from the energy. And so to be like, I'm a commit and whatever happens, happens. And then it's done, just gives me chills. It's hard to do
Mm-hmm.
when you have drive like this. But it's also interesting with you. I think so much of what you produce as an artist has to do with, well, especially like Black joy, even just between what you do movement wise and what you do with clothes. I think that energy of joy is so present. Um, that makes me think of play. So I wonder, do you feel like you're working at play? I wonder
Yes.
how you get there with
Yes.
that.
What's funny is when I first, because I was like kind of like almost like a punk rock kid. Like I was so angry as a child and a teenager and a young adult that I was like, girl, we gotta figure out how to unangry ourselves. Like, why are we like, I know obviously trauma. Yes, yes, okay. Like I know why I'm so angry, but at the same time, it's like that anger really is just like a yearn for like a deep passion in the expression of joy. Like what I want is to feel free. Like I want to feel like I can jump into a void of clouds and the clouds would just catch me and bounce me around. Like that's literally would be the best thing ever. Like, yes, please propel me into an abyss and just let me bop around. Like, oh my God. And that lightness, I also feel like is not something as a Black American, as a female, and as a queer person, and as a mother. Like I feel like all the things that identify me in this current moment, like joy is not something that you think you can just like have. Like it feels like something you have to like constantly work at. And I'm also bipolar depressive, so my mental health naturally slopes hardcore into depression, and I can just like sulk for like a very long time. And I realized once like I started getting older and a little bit more in tune with that sad girl in me, that it made me realize like she's so sad because she yearns for love and for joy. And you know what I'm saying, like you're not really that sad. Like if your circumstances were to, if I was able to be the hero for everybody like I want to be and for myself, I wouldn't be sad, right? That's
Right.
the idea, is that I wouldn't be sad because I have the resources and the opportunities to give them and spread them like wildflowers, that we would all be great. Kumbaya, like we
Right.
good. So like what is there to be sad about? But I think like reality is like that like in the Buddhist tradition, like dukkha is like you can't have pain without joy. You can't have joy
Yeah.
without pain. Like both entities like exist within each other, and they're literally the only, like every part of reality and spiritual realm, any galaxy, whatever, you're always going to hit hot and cold, you know what I'm saying, like
Yes.
near and like and far, like you're always going to have an opposing energy, and that those energies don't have to be in conflict, like they can work together and you can be a product of the thing that you hope for by like practicing it. So I think that that's why like I'm so happy that you said that about my work, because that is literally what I'm trying to do. I'm like literally always like, how can we make this joyful and like sell it like celebratory in some kind of way? So that made my whole heart soar to hear that you're getting that through line, because when I first started making art, I feel like a lot of people were like, it's just so like sad and like heartfelt. And I was like, but bitch, I just said I was happy. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm like, I
Yeah.
just told you I was happy though. Like, why are you getting sad? Like, you know, and I'm like, also like, yeah, like how can you, yeah, it's almost like mind fucks in a way. Like, how can you create something that like energetically my body could be like viciously going through something, but
Yeah.
there's a smile on my face, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
like what kind of transition that can create in other people like viewing that. And the same thing with clothing, it's like it's grungy but then there's tulle everywhere, like what the fuck. Like like you got on like 6 pairs of denim but then there's like tulle and ribbons and flowers in here too.
Yeah. There's that beautiful line in the description, as a delicate armor led by spirit motifs. I
Mhm.
thought that was such a, as a way of like guiding how you create your work. And this all sounds very similar. Like it's coming from such a deep well of emotion that is not going to be clearly one thing or the other. I was thinking even about our happiness as even our acts of resistance sometimes.
Yeah.
It feels like it's like you can say like I'm happy, so fuck you. Like
Right.
that's also a part of it. There's so many layers to why it's important to see your joy as it shows up in dance and clothes. Um, So it's definitely like palpable. And again, I think full circle, these are things that attract people to you. Um, it's really incredible to when you sit down and think about what you're doing. It's really powerful stuff. Um, so I guess one last question, because I feel like we've reached a good moment, is uh, do you have any like suggestions or any tips for people who are trying to find their happiness? What is like a good key, um, something that maybe you use? What is something that you return to? What's a good tip to find your happiness?
Let's see. I guess a couple of things is one, um, reincarnation is in the live body is how I feel.
Mhm.
And so if I feel as though, okay, that girl was very sad last week, this week, we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that we find joy somewhere.
Mhm.
And so I can reincarnate myself at any given moment. And sometimes that helps with the fit because if you put on something sparkly, you all of a sudden there's glitter everywhere. You're excited.
100%. 100%.
um, and then I think that also um, recognizing that the joy can only really come if you know what darkness feels like and if you know how to truly accept like that you get dark sometimes. The world is dark sometimes. And um I know like for me personally, it can feel like those things can overweigh the amount of light that you see. But in those tiny moments, like if I see a little bee fluttering on my front step and then I'm like, oh my God, I'm a literally I now I have no choice but to take this moment with this bee, you know, because it offered itself to me. How dare I just walk past this moment of joy? So I think like recognizing those tiny wins are really important. Yeah, especially if you're somebody like me that like the second something sad happens, it's like existential dread, like, oh my God, my life is ruined. And I'm like, wait, no, it's not. Like, I have pretty things over here, there's pretty things in the sky, like, you know what I mean? Like, just yeah, like recognizing how much beauty really is around you and how much beauty like you can cultivate by like the tiniest thing. Like yesterday, I was like, I was like really stressed because although I'm a businesswoman now, that means that I'm poorer than I was before.
Mhm.
So, because I don't have a job funding the business, so we're just extra poor. That I was like so stressed, and I was like trying to apply for government assistance again, and they're like, nope, like you don't qualify because you don't have a job. And I tried to apply then under Andrew, my partner, and they were like, nope, he doesn't qualify because he makes too much money. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I went to the grocery store and I was like focused and I was like, okay, we're gonna make sure we spend like within a budget. And then when I got home, I felt so good cooking this meal for 3 hours. And I was like, man, when it was done, I was like, okay, a moment of gratitude. We are fed, we are whole, we are happy. Thank you. And I was like, everybody eat. Like, I'm still crying, but like the truth is we are fed, we are whole, and we are happy. And that is the truth. Like in this moment, I am able to provide a healthy meal for all of us. And it'll even stretch until tomorrow if we need it, you know?
Because the future is the future. All you have is
Okay.
that present
All
moment,
I
and
have is the present.
nothing else is guaranteed. As I say to myself too, I was like, yeah, really have to touch in with that. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I feel like the people are going to get the light from this. It's been such a pleasure, and keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for talking with us.
I'm so excited.